Meteorologist Christina Sherwin.
And I'm Andrew Briscoe. We've got a great show on tap for tonight. There's a lot of weather to talk about, but we're going to dive right in with some local weather.
Yes, here in Tallahassee we've experienced some wonderful weather, especially today, with temperatures in the low 80s and waking up to a little bit cooler weather thanks to a front that actually moved through. But it's feeling a lot like fall.
Oh yeah, today I actually wore shorts today and was almost sad I didn't have jeans on.
There you go.
You know, between July, August, September, even June and May, it's just like, why am I wearing jeans? And then, you know, September comes around, the first cold front, you're like, where are my jeans? I have to go through and find them. And
as long as you're not getting a heat stroke or anything like that, we're good. But just to let everyone know, we're actually expecting rain for the month of October. There have been 3 days in September where the Florida Peninsula did not get rain.
And that's all because of the fronts that come in and stall out right in our area, mostly because they're not quite strong enough to push out the summer weather, and then because of that, they stall out in our area and bring us rain, cooler temperatures, which I'm sure everybody welcomes after 4 months of summer, and then slowly as they move out, we have a little bit more, a little bit of a warming trend, and then we come back to, of course, another cold front, and just going to get more and more the same cycle through winter.
Yes, and bringing it back to the local weather, we're actually going to send it out to the wall for an overview.
Yeah, as we take a look at the weather headlines for today. Today will be our very last dry day of the month, primarily because of another cold front coming through naturally, which means rain chances return on Friday. Now, how long will that last? You'll have to stay tuned a little bit to find out. As we take a look at the National Satellite and Radar, this is a cold front near Kansas City, Missouri, pushing on through. This will probably affect us in a few days, and then we have this weather over in North Carolina, South Carolina, up the East Coast, and we'll talk about that a little bit more at the desk in just a moment. But tonight's forecast, 62. We're going to go a little bit lower than you might think. It's going to be a chilly night, very nice welcome to fall, with that light wind just in case you want a jacket or anything. Now, tomorrow's forecast, you'll have to stay tuned throughout the show for us to talk about. It'll be seasonable, so you can maybe take a guess at that, and then it'll be a bit of an outdoor day for tomorrow and the end of the week. And now we're going to take it back to Christina and I at the desk, where we're going to talk about a little bit of that weather that we mentioned.
And how weather is actually affecting sports. Derek Jeter's last home game with the New York Yankees is coming tomorrow night, and because of that system that you showed on the radar, there might be some rain in the forecast.
Now, are you a Yankees fan?
I'm not really a baseball fan. So I don't
I'm a Braves fan and a Rays fan. I was born in Atlanta, and of course now I'm...
So it kind of hurts a little bit to talk about the Yankees.
A little bit, especially with the way the Braves have been playing lately.
Well, I couldn't tell you how they've been playing since I don't pay attention to it.
Miserable is one word for it.
Okay.
So yeah, of course, a little bit of weather and...
The nor'easter, it's actually moving on up the coast. It dumped a whole lot of rain on Central Florida. And it's moving on up, dumping lots of rain on North Carolina and Virginia as we speak. And tomorrow it's expected to be in New York, but they're actually hoping that the rain is going to move on out for the game tomorrow night.
All right. And now we're going to let you take it over with a look at the local
yes.
for our area.
And today we actually experienced temperatures that were below average, at least for our high. Our high today was 82 degrees. We have an average of 87 this time of year, so we're definitely experiencing the fall weather as the equinox was yesterday. The low temperature still on average at 68 today, with our average being 66. Currently, we are experiencing those mild temperatures that we've been talking about because of the front that moved through. And right now, like I said, in Tallahassee, we've got 82 degrees. Further inland, we see Thomasville at 70 degrees, Bainbridge at 75 degrees. And then along the coast, Apalachicola 83, so again, very mild fall-like temperatures. We've got some brisk winds coming out of the north and northeast, Tallahassee at 10 miles per hour, Bainbridge at 12 miles per hour, and the high spot on the map actually over in Marianna at 14 miles per hour. Oh, it just went down. But we do have those gusty winds coming out of the northeast due to that system. Now, we saw a little bit of cloudy weather this morning, but those clouds moved on out and made way for the sunshine that we experienced, developing into those warmer temperatures that we saw today, but still keeping it pretty average. So, but going into the next couple of days, we're going to be seeing this same sort of type of weather. Tonight, we are going to be experiencing cooler weather. due to the front. And tomorrow, we're actually going to be experiencing some of the same type of weather. It's going to be very seasonable temperatures with highs in the mid 80s and the lows in the upper 60s. So, but come Friday, we're going to see a change in that tendency. We are going to be seeing some rain in our forecast into the weekend. So fortunately, we do not have a home football game, but we are going to be experiencing some rain. So, you know, cuddle up on the couch, watch the football game. Might not be such a bad Saturday. If you're going out to the beach, maybe skipping class, don't advise it, but if you are, it's going to be a gorgeous day. Be careful with the UV being so high as it is at 11. Very extreme UV index for tomorrow. For tonight, we are going to be seeing those lower temperatures in the low 60s, even in Bainbridge at 59 degrees. It's only September, and we're already breaking the 50s here in the Big Bend region. So make sure to get ready for a chilly evening if you have a night out on the town planned. For tomorrow, again, those seasonable temperatures, highs in the mid 80s around the area. So just a very enjoyable day for tomorrow. Now, 7-day forecast shows the same sort of picture. Highs in the mid 80s with the rain chances hyping up for the weekend. So again, a good thing we have an away game. Now we're going to take it over to Casey, and he's going to tell us about what's going on in the southeast.
That's right. Thanks so much, Christina. As we get into the southeast, we'll see those temperatures right now are sitting relatively cool out to the north and to the east of Tallahassee. Here in the metro area, we're sitting at 78 degrees, but areas in towards southeast, up towards Savannah, much cooler, very cool conditions, in fact. 66 degrees in Savannah, 69 degrees in Wilmington. That's due to cloud cover and rain that is occurring in some of these areas. But much warmer temperatures up toward the northwest, Tupelo, 81 degrees, and Little Rock, 85 degrees. Now going ahead and looking at those winds, we do see winds have been a little gusty. It was a little bit breezy walking around campus today. Not too much of a factor, but just something that you do notice. 10 miles an hour in Tallahassee, down toward Orlando, a little bit higher, in fact, at this hour, 13 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour as well in towards Savannah. Now, the satellite radar does show that there is some rain off the northeast Florida coast as we get off toward the coast of southeast Georgia, the Carolina coast as well. There's pretty significant rain, in fact, as we get into toward areas around South Carolina, North Carolina, Wilmington area, also talking about Greenville, North Carolina. Pretty heavy rainfall in these communities, Cape Hatteras as well. So that's something that those areas need to watch. There's even a flash flood watch in effect for some of those areas. Now, relative humidity does tell the story very well, in fact. Relative humidity is kind of high around Tallahassee, 56%, but not too big of a factor. We're seeing nice conditions here, but much higher as we get up toward Wilmington, 96%. There's heavy rain occurring in that vicinity as well in toward eastern North Carolina. Now, your future rainfall forecast so, in fact, that we have had some rain occurring earlier this afternoon down towards central and southern Florida. We put this into motion. We do see that these rainfall rates are going to go up just a little bit. We're talking about over an inch of rain forecast next couple of days, even 2 inches, 3 inches as well as we get later in toward the period toward areas like Key West, Miami, 1.35 inches of rain expected in toward that area. So we're watching that for you closely. Tonight's forecast, 63 degrees in Tallahassee. A nice evening, temperatures cooler to the north and west, even in the 50s in some of our northwest communities. And tomorrow, 86 degrees. We'll keep an eye on those weather conditions. But right now, we'll take it back over to Christina and Andrew.
Thanks, Casey. Now, taking a little detour over to the West Coast, they're actually dealing with a lot of fire threats going on. There's actually what they call King Fire. They've named this fire, and it has burned up 90,000 acres in El Dorado County, California.
A lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah, you think about it, what's your average plot at home? An acre, maybe?
Maybe.
So you think 90,000 homes worth of land is on fire right now in California, and it's not even contained yet. So.
Yeah, exactly, and as of early yesterday, it's only 35% contained by the efforts going on in the West, and there's actually a system that's moving on through, or getting ready to move on through, and it's bringing those gusty winds that's actually going to increase the fire threat.
Now, of course, gusty winds are never a good thing for fire, but the one little bit of good news, I guess we can say out there, is that once it moves through, there'll be more rain that can help to fight the fire, hopefully. And
That's
help
what they're
put it
hoping
out.
for. So, but if we actually will take it out for a national look,
And that's going to be with you.
yeah,
Again.
and it's going to be the same sort of story. You know, looking around the United States, we have temperatures in the 80s for the most part around the country. Seattle at 64 degrees, and Phoenix, the hot spot on the map, at 104 degrees. I cannot even imagine after the mild day that we had here in Tallahassee, but overall pretty mild temperatures, I guess you could say, for this time of year. Now, we do see this system that Andrew and I were just talking about coming onto the coast, the west coast of the United States, that is increasing that fire threat going on, that's already going on in that area. Across the Midwest, we see another system that is stretching all the way from Minnesota on down to even northern parts of Texas, and it's dissipated throughout today, but we do see some remnants. Now, the big story that has impacted us here in Florida, not necessarily in the Panhandle, but down in the peninsula, is this system that we have that's moving on up the coast, the nor'easter, that is currently dumping lots of rain on southern parts of Virginia, northern parts of North Carolina, and it just keeps on trekking up the east coast. And we see that from this morning, there were still some lingering showers that were going on in Florida, southern parts, Miami getting lots of rain, but it dissipated throughout the day. So they were starting to see some clearer skies today as that system moved on up. Now, zooming in, we can see just how widespread this system is impacting us, or impacting the United States, excuse me. And it's just moving on up north, not stopping for anything, just dumping a lot of rain. And this front that's going through the Midwest right now, it's dumped lots of rain on Iowa and Missouri, and it's going to keep on moving as well. But like I said, it is dissipating for the meantime. Now, on over to our west coast, it is a big story going on because of the fire threat, and you can see this system that's just moving onto the coast, dumping some rain on Washington and Oregon, and even northern parts of California where the fires are going on. That is expected to move on south or into the southern parts of California to help any drought that's going on there. Now, airport delays. New York is experiencing a slight delay, 23 minutes, but anywhere else in the United States, and you're good to go if you're flying out. Now, for tonight's forecast, we see mild temperatures, mainly in the low 60s to upper 50s. Phoenix, again, the hot spot on the map at 84. Tomorrow's forecast, much of the same. Phoenix, 104 degrees, Seattle, 69, and taking it on back to Tallahassee at 86, and for the majority of the southeast. Now, we are going to take it on out to Andrew, and he's going to talk to us about what's going on locally here in Tallahassee.
All right, thank you, Christina. Yeah, a little bit of a local forecast now. We're going to talk to start about the rest of the work week tomorrow. Like I said in the overview, it's our last dry day. High tomorrow about 84, and then of course gets a little bit warmer for Friday when we've got a little bit of rain. We'll talk about 87. The rain chances will be returning on Friday, but how long will it last? You'll have to stay tuned. 78 right now in Tallahassee, 71 in Monticello, and 70 in Thomasville. A little bit cooler up in the northern areas, and then the warm spot, of course, almost like always, Apalachicola down at 83 degrees. Current winds coming out of the north, mostly because of the front that's through our area and impacting a lot of our weather. 12 miles an hour in Thomasville, 10 in Tallahassee, 6 in St. Mark's. A little bit breezy, nothing too dangerous or too problematic, but a little bit blustery nonetheless. Now, satellite and radar doesn't show much. A few high clouds, really not much in the way of rain or anything. Very dry day today. More of the same will be coming for tomorrow. We've got a few of those high clouds, nothing really popping up. As we take a look around a lot of the southeast, you can see, we were talking about this at the desk, this nor'easter moving up the east coast, Wilmington and the Cape areas, Cape Hatteras in North Carolina, a few of the Outer Banks, seeing a lot of that squally weather. Now, the big picture for the next couple days, we're looking at cooler temperatures throughout tomorrow and today. We'll put this into motion. You can see Thursday morning into early evening. And tomorrow night, nice weather. It's going to be clear, but it'll be nice, which is the great word for the rest of the forecast. Now, tonight, looking at 62 degrees, a little chilly. Like I said in the opening, a very nice welcome to fall. but a little chilly. You may want that light jacket, especially if you're like me and that can't stand the temperatures that low without at least jeans or a little jacket. Winds sticking around 5 to 10 miles an hour out of the northeast, so it'll be a little breezy too. So at 62, even though it'll be early morning, late night hours, it may be feeling a little bit lower than that. So got to worry about that. Tomorrow, another seasonable day, 84 degrees. We'll call it an outdoor day. So if you've got free time or any time, feel free to spend the time out on Landis Green because it's going to be beautiful. Now, the week ahead, take a look at the next 7 days. As we've talked about, tomorrow, very clear day, very cool, very seasonable though. But Friday, the rain comes in, even a little bit of a warming trend through Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But even on Saturday for the NC State game, we're looking at a nice 86 degrees with a little bit chance of rain. Thankfully, the game's not here, but we're going to talk now, Casey, with a little bit of weather history. So
That's
let's
right.
start.
We'll go ahead and start with other history. In fact, we'll start with Washington, D.C., where on this day, 13 days after September 11th, the terrorist attacks, that is, there was a tornado reported near the Pentagon. Luckily, no one was hurt though in that situation.
Luckily, tornadoes, you don't really think Washington, D.C. when you think tornadoes. You think out west, further, Kansas and Texas. So
Yeah, climatology wouldn't suggest that, but also that same day, there was another tornado near College Park, Maryland, the University of Maryland, and in fact, 2 people were killed, a very sad situation on September 24th, 2001.
that's a very interesting tidbit there. And what's our next story?
Well,
We've got some more weather history, don't we?
Absolutely. I'm back on this date. There's snowfall reported in Spokane, Washington, very early for this time of year for that to occur. We'll keep an eye on that, but right now we'll go ahead and take a look around Florida with Shane.
Thanks, guys. And here in Tallahassee, we were living up to the state motto of the Sunshine State, but down to our south, they didn't get so much of that. It's 78 degrees right now in Tallahassee. That's nearly the coolest spot in the state, which actually goes to Jacksonville. They were even more significantly affected by that cool front that kept temperatures a considerable deal below average, but gorgeous and beautiful. The rest of the state is pretty seasonable right now. Fort Myers at 79, Miami as usual up near 86 degrees, but they're still cloudy down there, and we're about to see exactly why. But first, let's take a look at the relative humidities, which are in percentages, so out of 100. And the higher this number, the more humidity there is out there, the more sticky and moist it feels outside. Just uncomfortable, though not uncommon this time of year. 81% in Jacksonville, 76% in Orlando, and 57% in Miami. But the dry spot on the map is Pensacola, which is only checking in at 49%, which is really comfortable and actually very enjoyable. Now, as to why it's so humid to the south, that's the result of the stationary front that's keeping it cloudy and continuing to drop rain showers along the Florida coast, especially the east coast. And we're going to check in on some specific areas in just a moment. Let's take a look at the Big Bend for starters. Here in the capital of Florida, it was a clear day, and what you're seeing here is just some radar interference. This is common to see on the satellites and radar, but it doesn't indicate moisture. We can find that with these bright shades of green and yellow that are for the most part off into the Atlantic, though we can see some down to the south, and that's where we're going to turn our attention now. At the bottom of the peninsula, we've got a few showers and storms to the north of Fort Myers, some of those dropping locally heavy rainfall, though the city of Miami remaining mostly in the clear right now, with just spotty showers to the west and east of the peninsula. Bringing it back to the center of the state, though, Orlando's getting in on the action too, from Vero Beach to Tampa and Sarasota, also experiencing spotty showers in what is otherwise a mostly cloudy day. Now, taking a look back here in the Big Bend region, what are we seeing specifically? Well, clear skies for the most part, from Tallahassee to Thomasville, back to Bainbridge, Mariana, and down to Apalachicola. Again, disregard that interference on the radar. It's not rainfall. Now, as for what we're going to see in the Sunshine State for lows tonight, we've got 63 for Tallahassee, similar conditions in Pensacola and Jacksonville, and warmer as usual to the south, which has not been impacted by this cool front. Miami, your low tonight will be 78 degrees, which was actually only a few degrees short of our high today in Tallahassee. And as for tomorrow, we're going to get back up there a little more, as all the clear skies won't permit a lot of cooling like they did today with those clouds. 86 degrees for the high in Tallahassee, same in Jacksonville, and Miami checking in as usual, the warm spot, at 89. Now that's around Florida, we're going to take a look around the tropics with Casey.
Thanks so much, Shane, and let's go ahead and do that. We'll take a look at that tropical update, and as we do so, we see that there have been some quite a few named storms this year, but not near as many as expected, as seasonal. Here we see that there were 5 tropical systems so far this season. We're talking about Arthur, Bertha, and getting down the list. We've seen these named storms. We're going to see some more than likely. Climatology would suggest, though, that we would see a lot more this time of year. We would expect a lot of areas here in this red of seeing quite a few tropical cyclones developing here in September. But luckily we've not seen that. Some great news. Not expecting anything to develop in the tropics for the next week or so, but we'll keep an eye on it for you here. The Gulf of Mexico, Bay of Campeche, talking about areas around the Caribbean as well. Not too much. There is some thunderstorm activity we're seeing, especially off the North Carolina coast, but not too big of a factor, at least in terms of tropical development, though they are seeing some heavy rains up toward eastern North Carolina. As I mentioned earlier, getting further out in the Atlantic, we're watching a few areas of showers and thunderstorms, but again, nothing expected to develop anytime soon. Now, current conditions here across the tri-state area, sitting at 78 here in the metro, getting up toward areas to the north and east. I was talking about this a little bit earlier. We're seeing much cooler conditions. 68 degrees in Valdosta, 66 in Savannah. Again, very cool conditions just to the northeast of the metro, and northeast viewing circle, in fact, seeing 60s. Don't normally see that this time of day in mid-September. Now, going ahead and seeing that temperature change, just in the last 24 hours, we have seen a significant dip in those temperatures over what they were at this time yesterday. 13-degree dip in Valdosta, 9-degree dip in Albany, only a 5-degree dip here in the metro area. Now, satellite and radar, we do see that there's not too much going on in terms of precipitation in our area, but as we get out toward areas to the east of here, we do see that there is quite a few shower and thunderstorms as we get off the coast of Florida on that eastern side of the viewing circle. Well, not in our viewing circle, of course, but seeing that there are some showers and thunderstorms in toward those areas. Now, futurecast temperature does show that we're going to see some pretty cool conditions. We're expecting to see those temperatures dip into the low to mid-60s tonight, 61 early tomorrow morning, warming up mid to upper 70s, lower 80s even as we get into the mid-afternoon. A really nice day here across our Big Bend region. Just a great day to be outside. And as we get into Friday morning, we will see 66 degrees, cool conditions then. Later on to your Friday, we'll see those temperatures warming up, low to mid-80s here in toward our area. We'll keep an eye on those conditions very closely across the region as we do see that, but we'll go ahead and now talk a little more here at the desk.
All right, thank you, Casey. That was a good tropical segment. Unfortunately, there's not much tropical to talk about, but
it's good. At least there's nothing developing, though, for any
news.
residents, anything like that. So that's really nothing to worry about anytime soon.
So what do we have on tap now for all of our viewers, Casey?
We'll go ahead and now talk about flooding rains in Central Florida. In fact, several roads, families are out of their homes, unfortunately, at this hour because of some significant flooding, talking about Volusia County, Port Orange, New Smyrna Beach. Very hard-hit areas there. We're talking about at least 44 homes that have been flooded.
Mm-hmm. And I was actually looking at this on the radar last night. Some areas near Daytona were getting 2 to 3 to even almost 4 inches of rain in just 1 hour, and it was crazy to watch, which just crazy. And for now, though, we will send it out to Shane for our last local at the wall.
Thanks, guys. From the Sunshine State to the tropics and then the tri-state area, let's bring it back home. We've got the last dry day tomorrow with rain chances returning on Friday. But how much exactly? Is it going to be a complete washout? And for how long will it go on? We're going to have answers to all those questions and more in just a few moments. But let's check out what we're seeing right now in Tallahassee. 78 degrees under partly cloudy skies with only 50% humidity. Gorgeous time to get out, take your dinner out on Landis Green, watch the sunset. It's that nice out. And similar conditions across the whole Big Bend region from 73, a little cooler up there in Bainbridge, warmer still in Apalachicola at 83, and the cool spot on the map, Valdosta, which is already dipping down into the 60s before sunset, so a cool night in store for them. As for the whole southeast right now, That rainmaker, that annoying stationary front, is getting its way out of here, and we're under a dome of high pressure, what we like to call a big bubble of no trouble. But we can see a little bit of trouble on the horizon. A cold front is going to move into the region. So let's animate all that right now. That stationary front is saying sayonara, and cooler temperatures prevail, and tomorrow is just going to be, there's one word for it, nice. Now moving into Friday, that's when the chances of rain begin to increase, and while we're not calling for a complete washout, chances of rain are relatively low, at least starting on Friday. We do recommend, like the duck, bring out your rain boots and your umbrella just as a precaution. Now, as for what the beach forecast is going to be tomorrow, being the last Friday, is the last chance in a few days to get out there and enjoy it. But bring your sunscreen. The UV index is at 11 and the surf is at 2 to 4 feet. So it's just going to be gorgeous and sunny for a last bit of summer before we really begin to get into autumn. Now, as for boating, right now, if you're the kind who wants to take out your boat, waves remain at 2 to 4 feet with a light to moderate chop, and beautiful conditions prevail with winds of 10 to 15 knots. Now, what we're going to see tonight in the Big Bend region, indeed a cool night to the north, especially in South Georgia. Bainbridge checking in with a low in the 50s, 59 just there. A little warmer still, Tallahassee at 62. So it is going to be a rather chilly night, at least chilly compared to what we've seen recently. So you may want to bring out the light jackets if you're from South Florida, for instance. And as for tomorrow, well, it is going to be chilly. So if you've got 8 a.m. classes, bring out that light jacket, which you can shed later. From 63 degrees at 8 a.m., how about a picnic for lunch tomorrow on Landis Green? It's going to be beautiful at 79 degrees, warming up to a high of 83 degrees by rush hour tomorrow. So a quick glimpse at the week ahead. These conditions prevail with chances of rain in the 40 to 50% range over the weekend, with the remaining into early next week, clearing by this time next week with highs back into the upper 80s. Let's send it back to the desk for one last story.
Thanks so much, Shane. Let's go ahead and talk about a little more weather history relating to very cool conditions across the nation starting to come in typically this time of year.
Of course, you don't think here in Florida late September is cold, but everywhere else across the country, snow starts, cold temperatures start. We start welcoming them a little bit here, but we're not as low as, say, negative 9 degrees in Yellowstone back in 1926.
That's right, that happened there a long time ago. That was the lowest for the U.S. any time in September, and that did happen today on that date. But let's go ahead and talk about that 7-day forecast. We do see those temperatures mid to upper 80s here over the next 7 days. Cool conditions, as we've been talking about for this time of year. Rain chances will start to increase. Make sure you like us on Facebook.
Follow us on Twitter. Watch us anytime at livestream.com. They're all at FSU Weather, so you can even Google us at FSU Weather, and you will find probably all those links right at the top. That's a wrap for tonight's show. I'm Andrew Briscoe.
I'm Casey Cloud. Again, thanks so much for joining us here on this Wednesday evening. Enjoy the great weather here across the viewing circle, and have a great night, everybody.